Can you imagine a single decision rewriting your entire life? 20 years ago, in the sleepy heart of America's heartland, Officer John Harris made a choice that still echoes with love and courage. A dedicated cop in the quaint town of Milbrook, John was a familiar sight, his cruiser gliding down oak-lined Main Street, past charming storefronts where neighbors greeted each other like old friends. His weathered eyes, etched with nearly 2 decades of night patrols, held stories of keeping this tight-knit community safe. But beneath his steady gaze, a quiet sorrow lingered. Could anyone see the emptiness he carried? One crisp morning, as John rolled past Mrs. Thompson's flower shop, her cheerful wave and vibrant peonies caught his eye. "Morning, Mrs. Thompson," he called, his voice warm yet tinged with weariness. "Oh, John, will we see you at the church picnic this Sunday?" she asked, her eyes twinkling with hope. John's smile flickered. How could he explain the weight of social gatherings since his beloved Sarah's passing? "We'll see, Mrs. Thompson. Duty calls, you know," he replied, driving off with a pang of guilt. Why did kindness feel so hard to accept? Sarah's absence had carved a void in his heart, growing deeper with each lonely year, her memory haunting the quiet corners of his once hopeful home. Back at Milbrook's police station, John's fellow officers greeted him with cautious respect. His unwavering dedication earned their admiration, but his stern demeanor kept them at a distance. Could they break through his walls?
Harris, go ta minute.
Sergeant Mike Peterson, John's longtime friend, called out, his voice laced with concern. John nodded, stepping into Mike's cluttered office, the air heavy with unspoken worry.
What is on your mind, Mike?
John asked, bracing himself. Mike leaned back, his face etched with care. "John, we're all worried about you. It's been 10 years since Sarah. Don't you think it's time to start living again? You're more than just this badge." John's jaw tightened, his gaze drifting to a spot above Mike's shoulder. Why did these words sting so much? "I appreciate the concern, Mike, but I'm fine. The job keeps me busy enough," he said, his tone clipped. Mike sighed, recognizing the fortress John had built around his heart.
All right. Just remember you've got friends here.
"We're here if you need us." As John left, the emptiness clung to him like a shadow. His house, once alive with dreams of a family with Sarah, now stood silent, each room a shrine to what could have been. Could anything fill that aching void? Little did John know, fate was poised to crash into his life like a thunderbolt. It was a golden autumn afternoon, the kind where leaves crunch underfoot and the air smells of change, when his radio crackled to life, shattering his thoughts of winter home repairs. "All units, we have a situation at 1456 Elm Street. Possible abandonment case involving multiple minors. Proceed with caution." John's heart lurched. Abandonment? Minors? He flipped on his siren, the wail slicing through Milbrook's calm as he sped toward the address. What was waiting for him? Pulling up to a small, dilapidated house, John's pulse quickened. Faint cries drifted from inside. Could children be in danger? He approached cautiously, his boots heavy on the creaking porch. "Police, is anyone home?" he called, knocking firmly.
The cri greloudé, desperat. With no answer, John made a split-second choice, pushing open the door.
What he saw stopped him cold. 6 young black girls, from a toddler barely steady on her feet to a preteen, huddled in the corner of a barren living room. Their wide, fearful eyes locked onto him, filled with uncertainty that pierced his soul. Who could leave these children alone? "It's okay," John said softly, crouching to their level, his voice a gentle anchor in their storm. "I'm here to help. Can you tell me what happened?" The oldest girl, her braids neatly arranged despite the chaos, stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Our parents. There was an accident. They didn't come home. We've been waiting, but..." Her words dissolved into a choked sob.
John s'atchatait. Au coup de fate biso cruel?
He radioed for backup and child protective services, his mind racing. These girls, so vulnerable yet so brave, stirred something deep within him. Could he walk away from their pain? The next hours blurred into a frenzy of activity. Social workers swarmed the scene, taking statements and assessing the situation. John learned the devastating truth. The girls' parents had perished in a car accident days earlier. With no relatives to claim them, the sisters faced a grim future, separation in the foster care system. Overhearing the social workers' hushed concerns, difficult to place all 6 together. Older ones might struggle to find homes. Cultural challenges for adoptive families. John felt a fire ignite in his chest. Why should these sisters lose each other after losing so much? Before he could stop himself, words tumbled out, shocking even him. What if I took them? The room froze, all eyes turning to John in stunned silence. Had he really just said that? The lead social worker, Linda, a kind woman with a steady gaze, approached cautiously. Officer Harris, I admire your heart, but taking in 6 children is a massive responsibility. Not to mention the cultural differences you'd face as a single white man adopting black girls. John nodded, his mind a whirlwind. I know, but I can't stand the thought of them being torn apart. They've already lost their world. Linda studied him, seeing the fierce resolve in his eyes. Let's discuss this at the station. This isn't a choice to make lightly. As they prepared to leave, the oldest girl, Amara, approached John, her young face etched with worry. Sir, what's going to happen to us? She whispered. John knelt, meeting her gaze with a warmth that surprised even himself. Amara, I'm going to do everything I can to keep you and your sisters together. Can you be brave for me and look after them while we sort this out? Amara nodded, her eyes clinging to his promise. Could he keep it? At the station, John plunged into a storm of paperwork, discussions, and probing questions. His colleagues stared, disbelief etched on their faces. Had their stoic friend lost his mind? Mike pulled him aside, his voice urgent.
John, are you crazy?
6 kids? On a whim. John ran a hand through his hair, his voice low but unyielding. It's not a whim, Mike. These girls need a home, and I
need a purpose.
I can't explain it, but this feels right. Mike shook his head, worry creasing his brow, but John's resolve was ironclad. Could anyone understand this calling? Social workers, lawyers, and child welfare experts grilled him relentlessly. They questioned his motives, his finances, his grasp of the cultural challenges ahead. Do you understand what you're signing up for? One lawyer pressed. John's voice, thick with emotion, never wavered.
You know it won't be easy.
I've spent my life protecting this town. Now I have a chance to change 6 lives. I can't turn my back on them. Linda watched him closely, her skepticism softening. As dawn painted Milbrook's sky in soft pinks, she pulled him aside. Officer Harris, these girls need patience, understanding, and endless love. Are you truly ready for that? John met her gaze, his eyes alight with a mix of fear and hope. Miss Linda, I've been alone for years. I thought my chance at a family died with Sarah, but these girls, they woke something in me. I'm ready to face any challenge for them. Linda's lips curved into a small smile. Well, Officer Harris, we've got work to do, but if you're committed, I believe we can make this happen. Could this be the start of something miraculous? As morning broke, John sat in his cruiser outside the temporary foster home where the girls were staying, his heart pounding with anticipation. His mind swirled with visions of a future filled with bedtime stories, school plays, and learning to navigate a world so different from his own. It was daunting, terrifying, even, but exhilarating. Taking a deep breath, he stepped out and approached the house, his knock echoing with purpose. Could he really become their father? The door creaked open, revealing Amara's hopeful face, her sisters peeking out behind her. Officer Harris, she whispered, her voice trembling with fragile trust. John knelt, his smile warm and unwavering.
Hello, Amara.
I promised I'd keep you girls together, didn't I? Amara nodded, her eyes wide with cautious hope. Well, John continued, his voice catching with emotion, how would you and your sisters like to come live with me? To be a family. The silence stretched, heavy with possibility. Then, Amara's face erupted into a radiant smile, and she turned to her sisters, nodding excitedly. Suddenly, John was swept into a joyful tangle of small arms, their tearful laughter washing away years of loneliness. Had he ever felt so alive? As he held his new daughters close, John felt the walls around his heart crumble. The road ahead would be steep, filled with challenges he couldn't yet fathom, but in that moment, surrounded by Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine, he knew one truth: love could conquer anything. Milbrook was about to witness a family forged not by blood but by choice, a journey of resilience, growth, and unbreakable bonds. Could this unlikely family defy the odds and redefine what it means to belong? The first rays of sunlight spilled into John's once silent home, now alive with the soft rustling of 6 young girls waking to a new day. 3 months had passed since John's life-altering decision, and each dawn brought a whirlwind of challenges and joys. Could he ever have imagined this chaos? Standing in the hallway, coffee in hand, John braced for the morning routine, a delightful, daunting dance of getting 6 girls ready for school. As he opened their shared bedroom door, a chorus of sleepy good mornings greeted him, mingled with the sight of tangled hair and rumpled pajamas. "Time to get ready, girls," John called, his voice warm but laced with uncertainty. Amara, now 12 and the family's quiet leader, was already helping 4-year-old Jasmine out of bed. "Dad, can you help with Jasmine's hair?" she asked, the word dad still sending a thrill through John's heart. "I need to get Zoe and Layla started on breakfast." John nodded, a nervous knot forming. Hair was his nemesis. He approached Jasmine, her curls a wild halo, and picked up a brush with grim determination.
All right, sweetheart, let's do this.
15 minutes later, after a few tearful protests, Jasmine's hair resembled a lopsided puff more than the neat braids he'd hoped for. "I'm sorry, Jasmine," he sighed, feeling inadequate. "I'm still learning." Jasmine's tiny hand patted his cheek.
It's okay, Daddy.
"You tried." Could her forgiveness be so pure? As they shuffled downstairs, John caught curious glances from neighbors. Mrs. Thompson, once so warm, now watched from her porch with a furrowed brow. Why did their family unsettle her? Shaking off the sting, John focused on buckling the girls into his car, their chatter about homework and school filling the air. Dropping off the older girls, his heart ached watching them enter the school, knowing they faced challenges he couldn't fully grasp. Could he protect them from the world's harsh edges? At the station, John faced more scrutiny. Mike cornered him in the break room, his voice heavy with concern. "John, have you really thought this through? 6 kids, especially, well, you know, it's a lot." John's temper flared, but he steadied himself. "Mike, they're my family now. It's tough, but it's right. I need your support." Mike raised his hands in surrender. "All right, just making sure you know what you're in for." Could John prove them all wrong? Weeks turned into months, and John dove into a world of new skills. He learned to cook meals for 6 picky palates, tackled braiding with dogged effort, and became a master at settling sisterly spats. But beyond logistics, he was navigating a culture far from his own. Could he honor their heritage? One Sunday, he took the girls to their parents' predominantly black church, feeling like an outsider but determined to try. As vibrant music filled the air and the girls swayed with joy, John's heart swelled. Why had he hesitated? Amara's reassuring hand squeeze grounded him, and he vowed to embrace their world fully. After the service, Mother Henrietta, a wise elder, approached with a warm smile. "You're the officer who took in these sweet girls," she said, her eyes kind. "You've got a big heart, John Harris. Come to me if you need help, you hear." John nodded, relief flooding him. "Thank you, Mother Henrietta. I will." Her support felt like a lifeline. Could this community become his too? Over time, John leaned into church life, learning recipes at potlucks and soaking up stories of resilience, deepening his understanding of his daughter's world. At home, the girls' personalities bloomed. Amara led with quiet strength, Simone's art filled their fridge, Tiana's athleticism shone in backyard games, Zoe's books sparked dinner debates, Layla's performances lit up the living room, and Jasmine's giggles healed every tension. Could John have dreamed of such vibrancy? Yet, challenges loomed. One night, he overheard Amara and Simone whispering about school taunts. "Some kids say we're not a real family," Simone said, her voice small. "They say Dad felt sorry for us because we're black." John's heart clenched. How could children be so cruel? Sitting on their bed, he hugged them close. "Listen, girls, we are a real family. Love makes us one, not skin color."
He chose you because he loves you, not out of pity.
Their tearful nods fueled his resolve. Could he shield their spirits? Seeking Mother Henrietta's wisdom, he learned to weave black history into their home, from bedtime stories to documentaries, empowering his daughters to stand proud. But prejudice struck again when Simone faced racist bullying at school, landing in the principal's office after a fight. "She called me a horrible name," Simone cried. John fought for her, reducing her punishment, then took her to a park to talk. "You stood up for yourself, and I'm proud," he said. "The world can be unfair, but you're strong, Simone. You come from resilient people, and I'll always be here to remind you." Could his love fortify her against hate? As years flew by, the girls grew into remarkable women. Amara pursued social work, Simone thrived in art school, Tiana chased basketball dreams, Zoe wrote novels, Layla led activism, and Jasmine navigated adolescence with grace. But Tiana's teenage rebellion tested John. Could he reach her? "You can't understand being black in this town," she snapped, running away one night. Found at the bus station, she broke down in John's arms. "I'm sorry I can't know your pain, Tiana," he said. "But I want to learn. We're a family." Their bond deepened through honest talks. Could love bridge their differences? Then, John's health faltered. Could he hide his lung cancer? Symptoms worsened, but he shielded his girls until a dizzy spell at a barbecue landed him in the hospital. "Why didn't you tell us, Dad?" Amara asked, tears in her eyes. "I didn't want to burden you," he admitted. Diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, John faced a grueling fight, but his daughters rallied. Amara coordinated care, Simone brightened his days with art, Tiana kept him active, Zoe read uplifting stories, Layla raised awareness, and Jasmine brought laughter. Could their love carry him through? One evening, Tiana sat with John on the porch. "Watching you fight cancer showed me where my strength comes from," she said. "We're in this together, Dad." John's heart swelled. Had he ever been so blessed? 5 years later, cancer-free, John was blindsided by a surprise at the community center. Friends, colleagues, and neighbors celebrated his impact, but his daughter's tribute stole his breath.
You saved our lives, Dad.
Tiana said, unveiling the John Harris Foundation to help foster children find homes. Could their gratitude be so profound? John's book, Love Beyond Color, shared their story, inspiring countless families. At baby Sarah's christening, named after his late wife, John read from it, "Love makes a family, not blood."
You girls gave me purpose.
As his daughters, now thriving, Amara leading child services, Simone an acclaimed artist, Tiana a coach, Zoe a best-selling author, Layla a council member, and Jasmine a police officer, gathered with granddaughter Sarah, John knew he was the richest man alive.
Could love's legacy shine brighter?
Their story, a testament to unconditional love, continues to change lives, proving that family is a choice that transcends all boundaries.
Can you imagine a small town buzzing with whisper of an extraordinary family de Fingolod?
In the heart of Milbrook, where oak-lined streets weave through cozy storefronts and neighbors swap stories like old friends, a remarkable journey of love, growth, and unbreakable bonds was unfolding.
For John Harris, a weather de police officer whose life on s'échoued with Loneline, the adventure of a team at Juste Beguin.
Oh, how could he have known that 6 little girls would rewrite his story with such vibrant joy? 3 months ago, John made a heart-stopping choice to adopt Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine. 6 black sisters facing a world that had already taken so much from them. Now his once quiet home hummed with life, each dawn bursting with challenges and unexpected delights. Could this be the family he'd always dreamed of? Sunlight slipped through the curtains, painting golden streaks across John's home, no longer a silent shrine to lost dreams but a lively haven for his new daughters. Standing in the hallway, coffee mug warming his hands, John braced for the morning whirlwind. How could one man wrangle 6 girls before school? As he nudged open their shared bedroom door, a chorus of sleepy good mornings greeted him, mingled with the chaos of tangled hair and rumpled pajamas. "Time to get ready, girls," he called, his voice warm yet tinged with the uncertainty of a rookie dad. Amara, 12 and wise beyond her years, was already coaxing 4-year-old Jasmine from her bed. "Dad, can you help with Jasmine's hair?" she asked, the word dad sending a thrill through John's heart. "I've got to get Zoe and Layla on breakfast duty." John nodded, a nervous knot tightening in his stomach hair, his eternal foe. He approached Jasmine, her curls a wild halo glowing in the morning light, and picked up a brush with grim resolve. "All right, sweetheart, let's tackle this," he said, determination masking his dread. 15 minutes later, after a symphony of tearful protests, Jasmine's hair looked more like a lopsided puff than the sleek braids he'd envisioned. John sighed, a wave of inadequacy crashing over him. "I'm sorry, Jasmine," he murmured, his voice soft with regret. "I'm still learning." Jasmine's tiny hand patted his cheek, her eyes sparkling with forgiveness. "It's okay, Daddy. You tried." Could her love be so unconditional? As they shuffled downstairs, John caught the skeptical glances of neighbors peering from their porches. Mrs. Thompson, once all smiles, now watched with a furrowed brow. Why did their family unsettle her so? The sting of judgment pricked his heart, but John pushed it aside, focusing on buckling the girls into his cruiser, their chatter about school projects and playground games filling the air. The drive to school was a lively blur, punctuated by last-minute homework questions. Dropping off the older girls, John's chest tightened as they vanished into the building. Did they face whispers and stares he couldn't shield them from? Could he ever understand their world? At Milbrook's police station, curious glances and outright stares greeted John. Had the town's stoic cop gone mad? His partner, Mike, cornered him in the break room, concern etched on his face. "John, can we talk?" he asked, gesturing to a quiet corner. "Look, I know you think you're doing a noble thing, but have you really thought this through? 6 kids, especially. Well, you know, it's a lot for a single guy." John's temper flared. Why couldn't Mike see his heart? Taking a deep breath, he steadied his voice. "Mike, I hear you, but those girls are my family now. It's tough, sure, but it's right.
I need you to back me up."
Mike raised his hands in surrender. "All right, just making sure you're ready for this. It's a big leap." Could John prove his friend wrong with love alone? Weeks melted into months, and John dove headfirst into a world he'd never imagined. He mastered recipes to please 6 picky palates, from macaroni to spicy stew, and tackled braiding with stubborn grit, almost getting it right. Sisterly squabbles became his courtroom, where he honed the art of mediation with a mix of patience and humor. But beyond these daily feats, John was navigating a deeper challenge, embracing a culture so different from his own. Could he honor the girls' heritage with the respect it deserved? One Sunday morning, as John wrestled with getting the girls ready for church, he realized he'd never set foot in their parents' predominantly black congregation. Feeling like a fish out of water but determined to try, he joined them, his heart pounding. Would he fit in? As they entered, every eye seemed to turn his way, but the girls, sensing his nerves, closed ranks around him. Amara's small hand slipped into his, her squeeze a silent, "You've got this." The service was a revelation. Vibrant gospel music filled the air, the preacher's words roared with passion, and a palpable sense of community wrapped around them. Watching his daughters sway, their faces glowing with joy, John felt a shift deep within. Why had he ever hesitated? This was their world, and he wanted to dive in with all his heart. After the service, an elder woman with kind, searching eyes approached. "You must be the officer who took in these sweet girls." "I'm Mother Henrietta," she said, her voice warm as a hearth. John extended a hand, his smile nervous.
"John Harris, Ma'am. Nice to meet you."
Mother Henrietta studied him, then broke into a radiant grin.
"You've taken on a mighty challenge, Officer Harris. Do I see love in your eyes?"
"Come to me if you need help with these little ones, you hear." Relief flooded John. Could this wise woman guide him? "Thank you, Mother Henrietta. I'll take you up on that," he replied, gratitude swelling in his chest. Over the months, John leaned into the church community like a lifeline. At potlucks, he learned to cook collard greens and cornbread under Mother Henrietta's watchful eye, his clumsy efforts earning laughter and encouragement. He soaked up stories of struggle and triumph, each tale deepening his understanding of the world his daughters navigated. Could he ever repay this community's embrace? At home, the bond with his girls grew stronger daily, their personalities blooming like spring flowers. Amara, the eldest at 12, was a natural leader, guiding her sisters with a quiet strength that awed John. He'd find her helping with homework or settling disputes with wisdom beyond her years. Could she already be so mature? Simone 10 was the artist, her room a gallery of vibrant drawings that John proudly displayed on the fridge. Tiana 8 was the athlete, her backyard football games with John sparking fierce competition and laughter. Zoe 6 was the bookworm, prompting John to enforce a no books at dinner rule after too many meals lost to her novels. Layla 5 was the performer, her living room dance shows stealing everyone's hearts. And little Jasmine, now 4, was the peacemaker, her giggles diffusing even the stormiest moments. Could John have dreamed of such a lively, loving family? Yet, shadows loomed. One evening, as John tucked the younger girls into bed, He overheard Amara and Simone whispering in their room. Concerned, he knocked softly. "Everything okay in here?" he asked, peering in. The girls exchanged wary glances before Amara spoke. "Dad, can we talk about something?" John sat on their bed, his heart racing. What was wrong? Simone's voice was small. "Some kids at school. They've been saying mean things about us, about you." John's stomach dropped. How could cruelty strike so young? "What kind of mean things, sweetheart?" he asked, dreading the answer. Amara's voice tightened with emotion. "They say we're not a real family. That you can't be our dad because you're white and we're black. They say you just felt sorry for us."
John s'attachait, en GN sad noiring within.
He pulled them into a fierce hug, his voice thick. "Listen to me, both of you. We are a real family. Love makes us one, not skin color. I chose you because I love you, not out of pity. You're my daughters in every way that matters." Looking into their tear-streaked faces, he pressed on. "Some people won't understand us, and that's okay. What matters is that we know our truth. We love each other, we're stronger together, and no one can take that away."
Don't let anyone make you feel less than you are.
As the girls clung to him, John's resolve hardened. Could he arm them against the world's prejudice? The next day, he sought Mother Henrietta's wisdom over tea, pouring out his fears. "John," she said gently, "you're doing beautifully, but some lessons only come from those who've walked their path. Bring the girls over Saturday for a gathering. They need to see strong black folks thriving, and you'll learn too." John nodded, gratitude flooding him. "Thank you, Mother Henrietta. We'll be there." The gathering was a turning point. Could it change everything? The girls soaked up stories from black leaders, their confidence blossoming before John's eyes. Mother Henrietta's parting words echoed in his heart. "Your job isn't just to protect them, John, it's to empower them. Teach them to stand tall." Inspired, John wove black history into their home, from bedtime tales of heroes to civil rights documentaries, filling their walls with images of pride. Could he help them shine in a world that sometimes dimmed their light? But prejudice struck again, this time at Simone's school, where a racist taunt sparked a fight. In the principal's office, Simone's tearful confession broke John's heart. "She said I wasn't wanted, that's why a white man took me in." Fighting for justice, John reduced her punishment, then took her to a quiet park. "You stood up for yourself, Simone, and I'm proud," he said. "The world can be cruel, but you're strong. Your ancestors faced worse and rose above. I'll always be here to remind you of that." Could his love fortify her spirit? As they hugged under the setting sun, John vowed to be their advocate, their rock, their guide, whatever they needed to thrive in Milbrook's complex world. Can you imagine the weight of a father's heart breaking under the sting of his daughter's pain? In the quiet town of Milbrook, where oak-lined streets whispered tales of community and cozy storefronts glowed with neighborly warmth, John Harris faced a moment that would test his soul. As he stepped into the principal's office at Milbrook Middle School, the air felt thick with tension. There sat Simone, his gentle 10-year-old daughter, her eyes red and puffy from tears, her small frame hunched in a chair. Could this be his artistic Simone, usually so even-tempered? Mrs. Garrett, the stern principal with a gaze sharp as a winter wind, gestured for John to sit. "Mr. Harris," she began, her voice clipped, "we had an incident today involving Simone and another student. There was a physical altercation." John's heart lurched. Simone, in a fight? He turned to her, his voice soft with concern. "What happened, sweetheart?" Simone sniffled, her whisper barely audible, like a leaf trembling in a storm. She called me a name, a really bad name, and she said I wasn't wanted, that's why a white man had to take me in." John's world tilted. How could such cruelty pierce his daughter's heart? His chest burned wit. Rage, yet sorrow threatened to drown him. How dare someone wound his child with such venom? Struggling to keep his voice steady, he faced Mrs. Garrett. "And what's being done about this other student?" he demanded, his tone taut. Mrs. Garrett shifted, her discomfort palpable. "Mr. Harris, we have a zero-tolerance policy for fighting. Both girls will face suspension." John shot to his feet, his voice firm as steel. "No, absolutely not. My daughter was defending herself against racist bullying. She shouldn't be punished for standing up to hate." The heated exchange that followed crackled with intensity. Could he make them see justice? After relentless advocacy, John secured a reduction to detention for Simone, but the victory felt hollow. As they walked to the car, Simone's slumped shoulders screamed defeat, each step a silent cry. Why did his brave girl carry such a burden? Instead of heading home, John veered toward a nearby park, its golden autumn leaves offering a quiet refuge. Leading Simone to a weathered bench, he sat beside her, the setting sun casting a warm glow. "Simone," he began, his voice gentle as a summer breeze, "I want you to know how proud I am of you." She looked up, confusion clouding her tear-streaked face. "But I got in trouble. I fought." John nodded, his heart swelling with love.
You stood up for yourself.
"That takes courage. I'm so sorry you faced that kind of hatred, and I'm sorry I couldn't protect you from it." His voice cracked. How could he shield her from a world so unkind? Taking a deep breath, he chose his words with care, each one a lifeline. "Simone, the world isn't always fair. Sometimes people will judge you, try to hurt you because of your skin color. It's wrong, it's unjust, but it's a reality you'll face." Tears welled in Simone's eyes, her voice small. "Then why even try if people always see me as different, as less?" John pulled her close, his voice fierce with emotion.
Because you are strong. You are beautiful.
"You are worthy. You have the power to change minds and hearts. Your voice matters, your life matters." He lifted her chin, locking eyes with her. "Don't ever let anyone make you feel small. You come from a long line of resilient people who faced unimaginable hardships and still rose above. That strength lives in you, Simone, and I'll always, always be here to remind you." Simone buried her face in his chest, her sobs shaking her small frame. John held her tight, his own tears falling silently. Could his love mend her wounded spirit? In that moment, under the vibrant hues of a fading sunset, John realized his role as a father stretched far beyond providing shelter or food. He had to be a beacon of hope, a source of strength, a fierce advocate in a world that wouldn't always see his daughter's worth. As they sat, the park's soft rustle of leaves a soothing backdrop, John made a silent vow. He'd raise Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine to stand proud, resilient, and unbowed. He'd teach them to face adversity with courage, to hold their heads high against injustice. Could he give them the tools to thrive? The drive home was quiet, but a new understanding wove between them, fragile yet profound. As they pulled into the driveway, Simone turned to John, her voice small but resolute. "Dad, can you teach me more about being strong, about our history?" John's heart surged with pride. Could her spirit already be mending? "Of course, sweetheart. We'll learn together," he promised, his smile warm as a hearth. That evening, as the Harris family gathered for dinner, John looked around the table at his 6 daughters, each unique, each radiant, each facing challenges he could never fully grasp. Amara's quiet leadership, Simone's artistic soul, Tiana's athletic fire, Zoe's bookish dreams, Layla's vibrant performances, and Jasmine's peacemaking giggles. Could any family be more beautiful? As they joined hands for grace, a tradition from the girls' birth parents, a sense of peace washed over John. They were a family, bound not by blood but by choice, by love, by a fierce commitment to face the world together. The journey of raising these remarkable girls was far from over. Oh, how many trials lay ahead. More tears, more doubts, but also laughter, triumphs, and countless joys. John Harris, once a lonely small-town cop, had become so much more, a father, a protector, a teacher, and a student. As he gazed at his daughters' faces, he knew he'd found his true purpose. Could any calling be greater? The road ahead promised challenges, but with love, understanding, and unwavering support, this unlikely family would face it together, growing stronger with every step. Years flew by in the Harris household, each day a tapestry of trials and victories. As John watched his daughters blossom from little girls into young women, his heart swelled with pride, yet a quiet apprehension lingered. Could he guide them through life's complexities? The bond they'd forged was ironclad, but as the girls hit their teenage years, new tensions bubbled up. How would they navigate this stormy phase? Amara, now 22, had graduated college, her passion for social work ignited by her own journey. Could she change lives as John had changed hers? Simone, 20, thrived in art school, her talent blooming under mentors who saw her unique vision. Tiana, 18, was a senior in high school, a star athlete with dreams of college basketball. Could her drive carry her to the stars? Zoe, 16, remained the family's bookworm, excelling in school and dreaming of writing novels. Layla, 15, swapped dance recitals for activism, leading school clubs with fiery zeal. Could her voice spark change? Jasmine, 14, navigated adolescence with her sweet nature, though not without stumbles. Tiana's rebellion hit hardest. As her senior year unfolded, her vibrant spirit dimmed, her withdrawal a puzzle John couldn't solve. Why was she pulling away? One evening, as he chopped vegetables for dinner, her sharp voice echoed from the living room.
You don't get it, Amara.
Tiana snapped, frustration crackling. You've always fit in better. You don't know what it's like to be the only black girl on the team, with everyone staring. John froze, Amara's calm response drowned by Tiana's retort.
Love isn't enough. Dad can't understand what we go through.
He'll never know what it's like to be black in this town, in this country. Her footsteps thundered upstairs, leaving John's heart heavy. Could he bridge this gap? Tiana's behavior grew erratic, skipped practices, slipping grades, hours locked in her room. John's every outreach met cold silence or fiery outbursts. How could he reach her? One tense evening, he knocked on her door, his voice steady despite his fear.
Tiana, can we talk, sweetheart? Go away, Dad.
You wouldn't understand, she shot back. John leaned against the door, his forehead pressed to the wood. I know I can't fully understand, Tiana, but I want to try.
Please, juste talk to me.
The door swung open, revealing Tiana's tear-stained face, her pain raw.
You want to talk?
Fine.
I'm sick of being the token black girl here.
I can't even shop without stairs. No matter how hard I try, I'll never fit in. John's heart ached as her words poured out. How could he ease her anguish? He reached for her, but she stepped back.
Don't you see, Dad? You can't fix this.
You can't protect me from a world that sees me as less. You'll never know that feeling. Before he could respond, Tiana bolted downstairs, the front door slamming as tires screeched into the night. Panic gripped John. Where was she going? Hours dragged, his phone clutched tight as the girls huddled on the couch, fear etching their faces. Could he lose her to this pain? Past midnight, Mike's call broke the silence. John, we found her. She's okay, at the station.
Calm down.
The drive was a blur, John's heart pounding.
Tiana sat in the waiting area, eyes red, a blanket over her shoulder.
Mike pulled him aside. She was at the bus station, trying to buy a ticket to Chicago, he said softly. She wanted to escape. John's knees nearly buckled. Escape? Kneeling before Tiana, his voice trembled. I'm so sorry I can't know your pain.
I'm sorry he can't make the world fair.
But please, don't ever think you're not my family. You're my daughter, and I love you more than life. Tiana's eyes, a storm of anger and sorrow met his. How can you love me if you don't know the real me? John's words poured out, raw and earnest.
You're right.
I'll never fully understand, but I want to listen, to learn. I can't change the world, but I can change me. We can face this as a family. Silence hung heavy, then Tiana collapsed into his arms, sobs shaking her. John held her, tears streaming. Could their bond heal this rift? The incident marked a turning point. John dove into learning, reaching out to black leaders, attending racial justice workshops, and holding tough talks with his daughters about their lives. Tiana opened up, starting a blog about being a black athlete in a white town, her voice finding strength. Could she inspire others? As the girls pursued their paths, John's pride grew, but a creeping fatigue gnawed at him. Was it just age? He was in his early 60s, after all. Yet, shortness of breath, weight loss, and a stubborn cough hinted at something darker. Could he hide it? Determined not to burden his daughters, John made excuses, skipping Layla's debates and Jasmine's concerts, using vacation days to rest. But secrets don't last forever. One sunny Saturday, at a barbecue celebrating Zoe's writing program acceptance, a dizzy spell struck. Gripping the grill, the world spun, and Amara's panicked cry, "Dad," was the last thing he heard before darkness claimed him. Could this be the end? Can you feel the warmth of a summer day shattered by a father's sudden fall? In the heart of Milbrook, where oak-lined streets whispered tales of unity and cozy storefronts glowed with small-town charm, John Harris faced a moment that would test his family's unbreakable bond. At a lively backyard barbecue, the air thick with the sizzle of burgers and the laughter of his daughters, John stood at the grill, chuckling at one of Simone's witty jokes. Could life get any sweeter? But then, a dizzying wave crashed over him, his vision blurring as the world tilted wildly. He gripped the grill's edge, desperate to steady himself, but the ground seemed to slip away.
Amara paniqued cry. Dad.
Pierced the joy, the last sound he heard before darkness swallowed him whole. Was this the end of their joyful gathering? John awoke in a sterile hospital bed, the harsh white walls and relentless beeping of machines a jarring contrast to the warm family scene he last remembered. Could this cold room really be his reality now? As his eyes adjusted, he saw his 6 daughters, Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine, gathered around him, their faces etched with worry, their eyes glistening with unshed tears. Amara, always the pillar of strength at 27, spoke first, her voice trembling. "Dad, why didn't you tell us you were sick?" John tried to muster a smile, but it twisted into a grimace. "I didn't want to worry you girls.
You've all got your own lives, your own dream.
I didn't want to be a burden." Simone, 25, stepped forward, her artist's hands gently clasping his. "Dad, you've never been a burden.
You're a rock.
We're here for you, just like you've always been there for us." Could their love pierce his fear? The doctor's diagnosis landed like a thunderbolt: stage 3 lung cancer. The road ahead loomed long and treacherous, paved with chemotherapy, radiation, and an uncertain prognosis. As John listened to the grim treatment plan, his heart sank. Would he miss Amara's next milestone, Simone's art shows, Tiana's basketball triumphs, Zoe's novels, Layla's rallies, Jasmine's college adventures? Could he bear to leave his girls without seeing their futures unfold? Yet, as he gazed at their determined faces, a spark of hope flickered. He wasn't alone in this fight. Could their bond carry him through? In the days and weeks that followed, John's daughters rallied around him with a fierce love that took his breath away. Amara, her social work expertise shining, became his unwavering advocate, navigating the labyrinthine healthcare system like a seasoned warrior. She pored over treatment options, attended every appointment, and battled insurance forms with a tenacity that left doctors in awe. Could anyone fight harder for their dad? Simone, ever the artist, transformed his hospital room into a gallery of hope, her vibrant paintings splashing color across the sterile walls. Her heartwarming sketches, capturing their family's journey through this storm, brought smiles even on the darkest days. Could her creativity heal his spirit? Tiana, the 23-year-old athlete, turned into John's personal trainer on his stronger days, coaxing him for short walks through Milbrook's leafy neighborhoods. "Keep fighting, Dad," she'd urge, her voice brimming with encouragement. Could her strength inspire him to push forward? Zoe, the 21-year-old bookworm, filled his chemo sessions with words of resilience, reading uplifting stories and inspiring biographies that drowned out the machine's hum. Could her tales of triumph spark hope in his heart? Layla, 20, channeled her activist fire into raising lung cancer awareness, organizing fundraisers at her college and rallying Milbrook's community for research and early detection. Could her passion make a difference? And Jasmine, the 19-year-old freshman, became his constant companion, her gentle spirit and infectious giggles a soothing balm during the grueling treatments. Could her laughter light his darkest moments? As months crawled by, John's strength began to creep back, each small victory a testament to his daughter's love. The treatments were brutal, sapping his energy and testing his resolve, but with Amara's fierce advocacy, Simone's colorful art, Tiana's spirited walks, Zoe's hopeful stories, Layla's bold campaigns, and Jasmine's joyful presence, he tapped into reserves of courage he never knew he had. Could this family's bond defy even cancer's shadow? One evening, as John sat on the porch swing, the sunset painting Milbrook's sky in fiery oranges and deep purples, Tiana joined him, her athletic frame settling beside him in comfortable silence. Could these quiet moments hold the deepest truths? After a while, Tiana spoke, her voice soft but heavy with emotion. "You know, Dad, I've been thinking about that night I ran away." John turned, surprised. They hadn't revisited that painful memory in years. Could she still carry that wound? Tiana continued, her words thick with feeling. "I was so angry then. I thought you couldn't understand me, being black in a white town. But watching you fight this cancer, seeing you never give up, even when it's so tough, I get it now. That's where my strength comes from you." John's eyes welled with tears as Tiana leaned her head on his shoulder. Could her words mend old scars? "I'm so proud of you, Tiana," he whispered, his voice cracking. "Of all of you. You've become such strong, amazing women. Tiana smiled, wiping her tears. We learned from the best, Dad. And we're not going anywhere.
We in this together, remember?
As they sat, the sky deepening to a velvet purple, John felt a profound peace envelop him. Could any moment be more perfect? The road ahead remained uncertain, but with his daughters by his side, he knew he could face any storm. Their bond, forged through years of love, struggle and mutual understanding, had never been stronger.
Coup de love Trudy Conquéole.
Each challenge they faced together only reinforced a truth John had known since he adopted 6 little girls 2 decades ago. Love, not blood, makes a family. In the quiet evening, surrounded by his daughter's unwavering devotion, John Harris realized he was the richest man alive. His legacy wasn't in wealth or possessions but in the compassionate, resilient women he'd raised. Amara's advocacy, Simone's art, Tiana's athleticism, Zoe's words, Layla's activism, and Jasmine's kindness. Could any father ask for more? As stars twinkled in the darkening sky, John made a silent vow to his girls. No matter what lay ahead, they'd face it together, their love an unyielding shield against any obstacle. Their journey hadn't been easy. Oh, how many tears and doubts had they faced. Yet, as John looked at the strong, beautiful women his daughters had become, he knew every struggle was worth it. In Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine, he saw humanity's finest: resilience, compassion, strength, and above all, love. In that moment, John knew he'd triumphed in life's greatest mission, raising 6 daughters who were proud of their roots and understood family as a choice, a love, an unbreakable bond that would outlast him. Could any legacy shine brighter? As night deepened, the Harris house settled into a gentle quiet, and John felt gratitude wash over him like a warm tide. Every challenge, every obstacle overcome, had forged their family stronger. In that unshakable love, he found a peace no illness could steal. Tomorrow would bring new battles, but tonight, wrapped in his daughter's devotion, John was at peace. Could any man be more blessed? He knew, no matter what the future held, they'd face it as the family they were destined to be. 5 years later, under a warm spring sun that bathed Milbrook in golden light, the Harris sisters huddled in Amara's cozy living room, their voices buzzing with excitement. Could they pull off the surprise of a lifetime? It had been half a decade since John's cancer diagnosis, a grueling road of recovery that tested their spirit, yet their father emerged victorious, his heart as unbreakable as ever. Okay, is everything set for next Saturday? Amara, now 27 and the family's unofficial planner, asked, her social work savvy guiding their secret mission to honor John. Simone, 25, a rising star in the art world, nodded with infectious enthusiasm. I've finished the video montage. It's packed with clips from his old police buddies, church folks, even kids he mentored over the years. Could her artistry capture their love? Tiana, 23, fresh from her first season playing pro basketball overseas, chimed in. I've locked down the venue. The community center jumped at the chance once I explained it's for Dad. Zoe, 21, looked up from her laptop, her fingers still dancing over the keys. I've drafted the speech, weaving in bits from each of us, but we should all say something too. Could her words do their story justice? Layla, 20, a college sophomore studying political science, added, I've got low Cal Media on board. They're thrilled to cover it, Dad's gonna be floored. Jasmine, 19, finishing her freshman year, smiled softly. I can't wait to see his face. After all he's done, he deserves this so much. The sisters spent the week in a whirlwind, perfecting every detail to keep their celebration a secret, telling John it was just a small family dinner for his 5-year cancer-free milestone. Could they hide such a grand plan? On the big day, Amara kept John busy with a leisurely lunch, her eyes twinkling with a secret she could barely contain. You know, Dad, she said, stirring her iced tea, I've been thinking about how much has changed since you brought us home. Remember how scared we were? John chuckled, his eyes crinkling. How could I forget? I was terrified I'd mess it up. Raising 6 girls, navigating our differences, I was in over my head. Amara squeezed his hand, her voice warm. But you did it, Dad. You gave us a home, a family. You taught us to stand proud, to fight for what's right. You changed our lives. Could her gratitude touch his heart? John's throat tightened, love and pride swelling. You girls changed my life too. You gave me purpose, showed me what unconditional love means. I'm so proud of you all. As the afternoon sun dipped, Amara suggested heading to the community center for their dinner. John, clueless about the surprise, agreed with a smile. Could he imagine what awaited? The moment he stepped through the doors, a thunderous surprise erupted, freezing him in shock. The room overflowed with familiar faces, friends, colleagues, neighbors, and community members whose lives he'd touched. Could this outpouring of love be real? Colorful banners blazed across the walls, celebrating John Harris, a true hero, and thank you for your service and love. At the heart of it all stood his daughters, beaming with pride. As the shock faded, John was swept into a tide of hugs and handshakes, gratitude washing over him like a warm wave. Tears pricked his eyes as he saw old friends, Mike, his police partner, Mother Henrietta, the church's wise matriarch, even Mrs. Thompson, once skeptical but now embracing him warmly. I don't know what to say. John stammered, his voice thick. Could he ever repay this love? Can you feel the electric pulse of a room overflowing with love so powerful it could light up the night? In the heart of Milbrook, where oak-lined streets cradled cozy homes and neighbors swapped stories like treasured keepsakes, John Harris stood at the epicenter of a moment that would etch itself into eternity. As Simone, his 25-year-old artist daughter, gently guided him to a seat of honor in the bustling community center, her steady hands anchored his trembling ones. Could this moment really be unfolding? You don't have to say a word, Dad, she whispered, her voice a soft melody of pride. Tonight is all about celebrating you and the countless lives you've touched. The evening bloomed like a vibrant tapestry, weaving gratitude, memories, and love into a masterpiece that wrapped John's heart in warmth. Oh, how could he have imagined such an outpouring of devotion? A massive screen flickered to life, casting a golden glow across the crowded room with a video montage Simone had poured her soul into crafting. Could her artistry capture the depth of a lifetime's kindness? John watched, tears carving rivers down his weathered cheeks, as friends, neighbors, and colleagues shared tales of his unwavering compassion, each story a brushstroke painting his legacy in vivid hues. Mike, his longtime police partner, filled the screen, his gruff voice thick with respect. John wasn't just an outstanding cop, he was a remarkable man. He taught me that true strength comes from empathy, from understanding. Could Mike's words honor the quiet hero John had always been? Mother Henrietta, the church's wise matriarch with eyes that held a century's wisdom, beamed her radiant smile. That man arrived at our church clueless about our ways, but with a heart as open as the sky. He showed us what family truly means. Even Mrs. Thompson, once a skeptic of John's multiracial family, appeared, her eyes twinkling with newfound affection. I'll confess, I had my doubts at first. But John Harris proved me wrong in the grandest way. He taught Milbrook what love really looks like. Could her transformation mirror a town forever changed? As the video faded, a hush fell, and John's 6 daughters, Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine, took their turns weaving personal tributes, each voice a golden thread in their family's rich story. Amara, 27, her passion for social work blazing, spoke of John's unyielding support through her journey. You were my rock, Dad, always cheering me on, no matter the odds. Could her gratitude reflect the countless nights he'd stayed up, guiding her dreams? Simone thanked him for championing her art, even when her abstract creations left him scratching his head. You hung my wildest paintings with such pride. Zoe, 21, her writer's soul alight, credited John with igniting her love of learning, giving her courage to chase her novelist dreams. You made me believe my stories could change the world. Layla, 20, her voice trembling with emotion, recalled how John fueled her activism. You taught me to fight for justice, to stand tall no matter what. Could her fire be a spark from his lessons? Jasmine, 19, the youngest, offered a simple yet profound thanks. You were always there, Dad, through every joy and tear. Could her quiet love speak louder than words? Finally, Tiana, 23, stepped to the microphone, her athlete's poise commanding the room's silence. Could her words heal old wounds? Her eyes locked on John's, glistening with tears. Dad, she began, her voice strong yet raw with feeling, I owe you an apology. For years, I wrestled with my identity, feeling like I didn't belong in this town. I pushed you away, convinced you couldn't understand what it's like to be me. John leaned forward, his heart aching at the memory of those turbulent years. Had he faltered as her father? Tiana's voice surged with strength. But I was so wrong. You may not have known every struggle, but you never stopped trying. Your love was unconditional, a beacon that never dimmed. You showed me family isn't about shared looks or identical paths, it's about love, support, and acceptance. She paused, steadying her breath. Your love gave me the courage to embrace who I am, to chase dreams that seemed out of reach. Dad, you didn't just change our lives, you saved them. You gave us a home, a family, and the strength to face the world with pride and dignity. The room held its breath, every eye glistening. Could words carry such weight? John sat, utterly overwhelmed, as Tiana's voice enveloped him like a warm embrace. He'd always prayed he'd done right by his girls, but to hear their impact, to see the radiant women they'd become, Amara's compassion, Simone's creativity, Tiana's resilience, Zoe's wisdom, Layla's passion, Jasmine's grace, it surpassed his wildest hopes. Could a father's heart contain such joy? As Tiana finished, all 6 sisters surged forward, wrapping him in a group hug, their arms a fortress of love. The room exploded in applause, a thunderous standing ovation roaring for the man who transformed so many lives. Could this moment be etched in time forever? When the cheers finally softened, Amara stepped forward, a mischievous smile dancing on her lips. What more could they possibly have in store? Dad, we've got one final surprise, something we've been crafting for years. John looked up, curiosity swirling with emotion. Girls, this night's already too much. More than I ever dreamed. Simone grinned, shaking her head. Oh Dad, we're just warming up. Tiana approached, cradling a large, elegantly wrapped box, its satin ribbon shimmering under the soft lights. This is for you, Dad, from all of us. Could their gift match the depth of their love? With hands trembling from emotion, John unwrapped the box, revealing a framed certificate and a thick folder. As he read, his eyes widened in sheer disbelief. The John Harris Foundation for Foster Care and Adoption, he whispered, his voice a fragile thread. Could this be real? Amara knelt beside him, her eyes sparkling with pride. We started a foundation in your name, Dad. Its mission is to help foster children, especially kids of color, find loving homes. We want to give others the chance you gave us. Zoe, her writer's passion igniting, added, it'll support adoptive families, offer cultural education, and tear down barriers in the foster system. We've already secured funding for the first year. Layla, her activist zeal blazing, chimed in, local businesses, neighbors, even your old police pals, everyone jumped in when they heard. Jasmine squeezed his hand, her voice soft. This is your legacy, Dad, changing lives, just like you changed ours. John stared at the certificate, his vision blurring as tears spilled over. Could their vision be so vast? This was beyond anything he'd ever imagined. His simple act of love, opening his heart to 6 little girls 20 years ago, had rippled out to touch countless lives. Could one choice spark such a wave? Finding his voice, he looked at his daughters, his heart so full it threatened to burst. I don't know what to say. This is incredible. But girls, you don't owe me a thing. Everything I did was out of love. Tiana knelt beside him, clasping his hand. We know, Dad. That's why we did this, not because we owe you, but to share your love with the world. We want your example to inspire others to open their hearts to kids who need them. John pulled his daughters close, his shoulders trembling with quiet sobs. Could love feel so all-consuming? Holding them, he marveled at their journey, from those shaky first days as a makeshift family to this triumphant moment of love. The path had been strewn with challenges, prejudice, illness, doubt, but their unwavering love had carried them through. Could any bond be mightier? As the evening unfolded, John was surrounded by well-wishers, each sharing how he'd shaped their lives. A young man, once a teen John mentored, approached, his voice thick. Mr. Harris, seeing how you raised your daughters, embracing their culture, it gave me hope. Love can break any barrier. Could his influence stretch so far? An older woman, her gray hair neatly coiled, squeezed John's hand warmly. I remember you bringing those girls to church, she said, eyes twinkling. Some folks doubted, but I saw your love. You taught Milbrook what family means. John listened, humbled. Had he touched so many without realizing? As night deepened, he stood at the podium, facing a sea of faces, his daughters, friends, community. Taking a deep breath, he searched for words to capture the emotion swirling within. Could he express this love? 20 years ago, he began, his voice quivering, I made a choice that changed my life forever. I became a father to 6 beautiful, strong, amazing girls. I thought I was giving them a better life, but they gave me so much more." He paused, gazing at each daughter, Amara's resolve, Simone's artistry, Tiana's strength, Zoe's insight, Layla's fire, Jasmine's grace. "You girls taught me unconditional love. You opened my eyes to a world I didn't know. You made me a better man, a better father, a better human." Could his gratitude reach their hearts? His voice steadied, growing bold. "To everyone here, thank you. Your support, friendship, love, it's everything. To my girls, thank you for this gift. The John Harris Foundation will prove family is more than blood, it's love." He smiled, tears glistening. "I gave you a home, but you gave me purpose, a family. Now, we'll share that with others. I'm prouder, humbler, more grateful than words can express." Could his words convey his soul's depth? The room roared with applause, his daughters rushing to embrace him. Could time hold this moment forever? Later, on the porch swing under a starlit sky, John sat with his girls, the cool night air wrapping them in peace. "When I brought you home, I was terrified," he said softly. "I didn't know how to raise 6 daughters so different from me. But now I see, love conquers all." Tiana leaned on his shoulder. "You showed us that, Dad." Amara nodded, eyes shining. "And now, we'll spread it worldwide." Could their legacy glow brighter? Bound by a love that triumphed over every trial, prejudice, cancer, doubt, the Harris family sat together, unyielding. John, once a lonely cop, now surrounded by his chosen family, knew this love was his greatest treasure. The John Harris Foundation would transform lives, but his true victory was here, 6 compassionate women calling him Dad. Could any man be richer? Can you feel the magic of a night where love shines brighter than the stars above? In the heart of Milbrook, where oak-lined streets whispered tales of community and cozy storefronts glowed with neighborly warmth, John Harris stood wrapped in a moment so radiant it felt like the heavens were celebrating. As the stars twinkled overhead, casting a silver glow over his weathered porch swing, John knew he was the richest man alive, not in money or possessions, but in the boundless love of his family, in the certainty that he'd woven a legacy that would ripple through time. Hugging his daughters, Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine, close, their warmth a shield against the cool night air, he silently thanked the twist of fate that brought 6 unwanted little girls into his life 20 years ago. Could any man be more blessed? By choosing to love them, John had discovered his true calling, his deepest joy, and a legacy that would endure long after he was gone. Oh, how could one decision spark such a blaze of love? That love wasn't about black or white, blood or biology. It was a force that mended broken hearts, reshaped lives, and forged a family stronger than any genetic bond. Under the starlit sky, John realized this was the most astonishing reward of all. Could anything be more profound? The years rolled on, each weaving new joys and challenges into the Harris family's vibrant tapestry, a home now alive with laughter, dreams, and unbreakable bonds. John, now in his early 70s, his hair silvered but his spirit unyielding, watched with a heart brimming with pride as his daughters flourished, their careers and lives blooming like wildflowers in Milbrook's gentle sun. The John Harris Foundation, born from their gratitude, had soared beyond their wildest dreams, touching countless lives across the nation. Could their vision have grown so vast? On a crisp autumn morning, the air fragrant with fallen leaves and the promise of change, John sat on his beloved porch swing, a steaming mug of coffee warming his hands. Laughter spilled from inside the house, where his 6 daughters had gathered for their monthly family breakfast. Could any sound be more precious? These rare moments, with Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine under one roof, were John's greatest treasures. Amara, now 32, had just been appointed Director of Child Services for the entire state, her fierce advocacy for foster children and innovative family reunification programs earning her national acclaim. John's smile deepened, recalling the shy, serious girl who'd first stepped into his life. Had she always carried such fire? She'd become a guardian of the vulnerable, carrying forward the legacy he'd ignited. The porch door creaked open, and Simone stepped out, her artist's grace as captivating as her paintings. At 30, she was a renowned creator, her works exploring identity, family, and belonging, her latest exhibition of diverse family portraits earning critical praise. "Mind if I join you, Dad?" she asked, settling beside him, her presence a quiet comfort. John wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "Never, sweetheart. How's the wedding planning going?" Simone's face lit up, her engagement ring catching the sunlight like a tiny star. Great. Sarah and I chose the community center garden for the ceremony. It's where our family began, you know. Could her choice be more poignant? John's throat tightened, the memory of their surprise celebration 5 years ago flashing vivid as a summer day. Had time flown so swiftly? That's perfect, honey. No better place, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Inside, the commotion swelled, Tiana's booming laugh mingling with Zoe's soft giggles. At 28, Tiana had retired from professional basketball and now coached the women's team at Mile Away College, her passion pouring into mentoring young athletes from tough backgrounds. Could she inspire them as John had her? Zoe, 26, had published her second novel, a powerful story of a multiracial family in small-town America, following her surprise bestseller. John had read both books, their pages echoing their family's journey. Could her words weave such a legacy? The door burst open again, and Layla charged out, phone in hand, her energy a spark in the morning calm. At 25, she was Milbrook's youngest city council member, her fierce advocacy for social justice revitalizing local politics. Dad, Simone, you've got to see this, she exclaimed, thrusting her phone forward. A news article glowed, spotlighting Jasmine, the youngest at 24, who'd followed John's path into the police force. It lauded her community outreach, forging trust between law enforcement and minority groups. Could her compassion shift hearts as her father's had? John's chest swelled with pride. Each daughter was a beacon, spreading the love that defined their family. As they soaked in the morning sun, John's thoughts drifted to their journey. Had it really been so extraordinary? The struggles, tears, and doubts seemed like distant shadows now, outshone by the love and joy that filled their lives. Suddenly, a burst of excitement from inside snapped him back. Tiana's voice, trembling with nervous thrill, called, "Dad, come in. We've got news." John exchanged curious glances with Simone and Layla, his heart quickening. Could it be something big? Stepping into the living room, he found Tiana standing tall, her hand clasped with her girlfriend, Maya, the other sisters radiating barely contained glee. Tiana took a deep breath, her eyes shining like morning dew. "Dad, Maya, and we're having a baby." For a heartbeat, John stood frozen, the words sinking in like a warm dawn. Could this be true? Then, with a joyous shout, he rushed forward, enveloping them in a fierce hug. "A baby! I'm gonna be a grandpa." The room erupted in cheers, laughter ringing like a chorus of bells as the family celebrated. Gazing at his daughter's beaming faces, John felt a new chapter unfolding. Could their love grow even richer? Over the next months, the Harris house thrummed with anticipation, every corner alive with preparations for the new arrival. John threw himself into the task with boundless enthusiasm, transforming his old office into a nursery, its walls painted in soothing pastels, a crib nestled under a mobile of tiny stars. He pored over parenting books, determined to be the world's best grandpa. Could he master this role too? One evening, as he hung a fluffy teddy bear on the crib, Amara found him in the nursery's rocking chair, a faraway look in his eyes. "Penny for your thoughts, Dad?" she asked, perching on the window seat, her voice soft as a breeze. John's smile was misty, his eyes glistening. "Just marveling at how life circles back. 25 years ago, I was terrified to raise 6 girls. Now I'm about to be a grandfather. Could time weave such miracles?" Amara squeezed his hand, her voice tender. "I've been thinking about that too. I work with so many foster kids who never find a home, a place to belong. I see how lucky we were. You didn't just give us a house, Dad, you gave us a future." John's eyes stung with tears. Could her gratitude run so deep? "Oh, sweetheart, you girls gave me more than I ever gave you. Meaning, purpose, a love that's boundless." They sat in quiet harmony, memories swirling like autumn leaves. Had their journey been so remarkable? Amara spoke again, her tone thoughtful. "With the baby coming, I've been reflecting on our story, how vital it is to share our history. Would you consider writing it down, your journey with us, the trials, the lessons? It could light the way for others." John's heart sparked with excitement. Could their tale inspire the world? "That's a brilliant idea. Our story might give hope, urge others to open their hearts to kids in need." Over the next months, as Tiana's due date loomed, John poured his soul into writing their story, reliving the fears and joys of those early days, the challenges they'd conquered, and the love that had triumphed. The day Tiana went into labor, the Harris clan descended on the hospital, John pacing the waiting room, his heart a whirlwind of thrill and nerves. Could he relive that first-day fear and joy? After an eternity, Maya emerged, her face radiant. "It's a girl," she announced, her voice choked with emotion. "Tiana wants you, John." With trembling legs, John entered the room, where Tiana sat, glowing despite exhaustion, cradling a tiny bundle swathed in pink. "Dad," she said softly, "meet your granddaughter." Tiana placed the baby in his arms. Could anything be more sacred? Gazing at the tiny face, with rosebud lips and a button nose, John's heart expanded with a love so vast it stole his breath. "She's perfect," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. Could joy be so overwhelming? "What's her name?" Tiana and Maya shared a knowing smile. "We named her for the woman who dreamed of this family, Sarah Harris Thompson." John's breath caught. Sarah, his late wife, whose love had shaped his heart. In that moment, he felt her presence, as if she stood beside them, sharing this miracle. Could love transcend even time? As his daughters crowded around, cooing over baby Sarah, John marveled at the family he'd built, from 6 frightened girls to these extraordinary women, now a new generation dawning. Every struggle, tear, and doubt had led to this, a family bound by love, acceptance, and unyielding support. Could any legacy be more profound? In the weeks that followed, John completed his book, Love Beyond Color, the story of an unlikely family. With Zoe's publishing savvy, it found a major publisher, its launch aligning with Sarah's christening at the church where their journey began. Mother Henrietta, in her 90s yet sharp as ever, led the ceremony, her voice a beacon of love. As John stood at the altar, cradling his granddaughter, surrounded by his daughters, he felt their story complete. Could life hold more? At the launch, he read from his book, his voice resonant. 25 years ago, I chose to father 6 incredible girls. I thought I was giving them a chance, but they gave me purpose, love, a family. Our story proves love transcends all, forging bonds stronger than blood. Could his words ignite hope worldwide? The Harris family stood together, their love a flame that would burn bright forever, a testament that family is crafted by choice, by love, by an unbreakable bond that outshines all. Can you imagine standing at an altar, surrounded by the family you built through love, holding a tiny grandchild who embodies your legacy? In the heart of Milbrook, where oak-lined streets whispered tales of unity and cozy storefronts glowed with small-town charm, John Harris stood in a moment so radiant it felt like the heavens themselves were rejoicing. As he cradled baby Sarah, his newborn granddaughter, with his 6 daughters, Amara, Simone, Tiana, Zoe, Layla, and Jasmine, encircling him at the church altar, John felt a profound sense of completion washing over him like a warm tide. Could this be the pinnacle of his life? The journey that began with a split-second decision to take in 6 unwanted little girls 20 years ago had blossomed into this, a moment brimming with more love and joy than he could have ever dreamed. Oh, how could one choice weave such a vibrant tapestry of family? After the christening ceremony, led by the wise Mother Henrietta, John stepped forward to share a reading from his newly published book, Love Beyond Color, the story of an unlikely family. His voice, strong and clear, filled the church, resonating with the weight of their extraordinary story. Could words capture such a legacy? 25 years ago, I made a decision that changed my life forever. He began, his tone rich with emotion. I chose to become a father to 6 beautiful, strong, amazing girls. I thought I was giving them a chance at a better life, but the truth is, they gave me so much more. He paused, his gaze sweeping over each daughter, Amara's fierce compassion, Simone's artistic soul, Tiana's resilient spirit, Zoe's quiet wisdom, Layla's fiery passion, and Jasmine's gentle grace, his heart swelling with pride. Could any father be more honored? They taught me that family isn't about blood or appearance, he continued, his voice steady yet brimming with feeling. It's about love, pure and simple. It's about choosing to stand by each other, no matter what. It's about seeing beyond color, beyond differences, to the heart of what truly matters. As John looked out at the sea of faces, his daughters, baby Sarah, friends, and Milbrook's community, all woven into their journey, he felt a gratitude so deep it nearly stole his breath. Could this moment hold more love? Our story isn't just about 1 white cop and 6 black girls, he declared, his words ringing with conviction. It's about the power of love to transform lives. It's about the family we choose, the bonds we forge through compassion and understanding. It's about opening our hearts to possibilities we never imagined. John's voice softened, a tender note creeping in as he concluded. To anyone out there who's ever felt unwanted, unloved, or out of place, hear this: there's a family waiting for you. It might not look like you expect, it might challenge everything you thought you knew about love and belonging, but it's out there. And when you find it, or when it finds you, it will change your life in ways you never thought possible. Could his message spark hope in countless hearts? As applause thundered through the church, John clutched his book to his chest, feeling the weight of their story in his hands, a story now shared with the world, poised to inspire others to open their hearts to children in need. Could their journey touch lives far beyond Milbrook? Later that evening, as the Harris family gathered at home for a celebratory dinner, the house hummed with warmth, the clink of glasses and bursts of laughter filling the air. Could any home be more alive? John found himself back on his beloved porch swing, baby Sarah sleeping peacefully in his arms, her tiny hand curled around his finger like a delicate promise. One by one his daughters joined him, each finding a spot to sit, Amara on the steps, Simone beside him, Tiana leaning against the railing, Zoe cross-legged on the floor, Layla perched on a chair, and Jasmine nestled close. Could this moment be more perfect? They sat in comfortable silence, watching the sun dip below the horizon, painting Milbrook's sky in fiery oranges and deep purples, the town that had witnessed their extraordinary journey. Finally, Amara broke the quiet, her voice soft yet heavy with emotion. "You know, Dad, when I was little, I used to dream about finding my real family," she said, her eyes glistening under the porch light. "I thought if I could find people who looked like me, who shared my blood, I'd finally belong." The other sisters nodded, murmuring agreement. Hadn't they all carried that longing once? Amara's voice grew stronger. "But now I see we had our real family all along. You taught us that family isn't about matching skin or shared DNA. It's about love, about choosing each other every single day." Could her words capture the depth of their bond? Tiana chimed in, gently stroking her daughter Sarah's cheek, her athlete's poise softened by motherhood. "And now we get to pass that lesson to the next generation. Sarah will grow up knowing love comes in all colors, that family is so much more than what's on the surface." John's eyes welled with tears as he looked at his daughters, strong, beautiful, compassionate women who'd overcome prejudice, doubt, and fear to achieve more than he'd ever dared hope. Could their strength be his greatest gift? "Girls," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "you are the greatest treasure I've ever received. You turned a lonely old cop into the richest man in the world, rich in love, in family, in purpose. I may have given you a home, but you gave me a life worth living." As the stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky, the Harris family sat together, bound by a love that had triumphed over every obstacle life had thrown their way. They'd faced racism, illness, and moments of doubt, but through it all, their bond had only grown stronger. Could any family be more resilient? John Harris, once a solitary small-town cop, now sat surrounded by the family he'd chosen, the daughters who'd reshaped his life in ways he could never have imagined, and a granddaughter who heralded the beautiful future they'd built together. Could any legacy be more radiant? As he gazed at their faces, illuminated by the soft porch light, John knew this moment, this love, was the greatest reward he could ever have asked for. Their story, now shared through love beyond color, would inspire countless others to open their hearts, to look beyond appearances, and to embrace the transformative power of unconditional love. For in choosing to love 6 unused little girls, John had not only changed their lives but had set in motion a ripple effect of acceptance that would continue long after he was gone. Could one act of love spark such a wave? It was a legacy of love, a testament that family isn't defined by blood or appearance but by the choices we make, the love we share. As the Harris family sat on that porch, wrapped in the warmth of their unbreakable bond, they knew they'd found something truly miraculous, a love that transcended color, overcame every hurdle, and held the power to change the world one family at a time. Could anything be more extraordinary? John's unwavering love and the incredible connection he shared with his 6 adopted daughters had woven a heartwarming transformation, not just in their lives but in the hearts of all who heard their story. If John's tale of sacrifice and gratitude touched your soul, subscribe for more uplifting stories of family, resilience, and hope. And before you go, share your thoughts. What would you have done in John's shoes? Let us know in the comments below.